Hello there, friends. So I keep dreaming about this thing. It's in the people in the comments are asking me about seam allowance, and I'm not sure what it is. Seam allowance. So anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Donuts. Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying that a lot of people want to know what it is to like the eighth of an inch for the sewing allowance. So what I always tell them that it really doesn't matter in the end. It's not rocket science. So, this is so easy. I can do it in my sleep. So for automotive and motorcycles, jet ski seats, those type, what's most common is probably about a 3/8 inch, what everybody's calling a seam allowance. So what we will do is we'll start off with that. Then I'm going to do a automotive version first, and then we can move over. This will be an automotive and motorcycle and jet ski type seat example. Next, after this, I'll do the marine version, and after that we'll do a furniture version. So here we go. One more thing before I get started is I just wanted to state that this is the way I've always done it. I'm sure there's more than one way to get this job done, and I'm sure a lot of you out there do it differently. But I'm just here to show how I've done it for the last 44 years. So what we will do is what we will do our imaginary 3/8 inch line we're going to be sewing down. So if we took some measuring device like this and we measure 3/8 of an inch, okay, then you lift your foot here, set it down. The way I really measure is I should have about, this is my technique number 241. So technique number 241 is just to have about 1/8 of an inch showing on the side of my foot. Your foot here, the width might be different, but that's just what I use as a guide. So that's how I start. You see that right there? What I'm looking at is about 1/8 of an inch on the side showing. So now, what that allows me to do is I have enough on the back side right here to where either I could just fold it over once like this and do a top stitch, or I can spread the two out in the middle like that. That gives me enough right there, you see that, to where I could put a stitch on either side, and that is what I call a French stitch. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do a top stitch. So I'm basically going to take this and just fold it over once on itself, just like that. So now we have the top stitch. And that's what the result is like on the back side, with about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance right there. Actually, it's not too bad, huh? Yeah, about 3/8. Okay, now let's go move on to the marine version. Okay, marine version, it's common to have either a 3/8 like you just saw, or up to 1/2 inch. So up to 1/2 inch. Take your measuring device, put it underneath your foot, 1/2 inch. Okay, so now what I see showing on the side of my foot here is about a 1/4 of an inch. So I have seen it both ways many times on boats, and boat related, water related upholstery, is they'll either do the 3/8 like on a car, or they will do the 1/2 inch. So this is what the 1/2 inch looks like. So that's what we have there. And what you're going to see there, it's pretty darn close to a 1/2 inch. So for marine, that's kind of what that'll look like. Now, let's do the 1/2 inch version for marine with a welt. So, what we do is put 3 pieces together now is the shortcut. Okay, that's technique number 401. So what technique number 401 is, sometimes people, what they'll do is they'll sew the welt on first, and then take the second panel and sew that on last. So what I'm going to show you is old school, what we used to do in the old days. You know, maybe some of you weren't even around in the 1970s, but what we do is you sew all 3 at one time. And that's what that looks like. You've probably seen that on old cars, and you've probably seen that on marine boats and that sort of thing. Ginger or Marianne? Ginger or Marianne? Ginger or Marianne? Oh, okay, so now we'll do the furniture version. Okay, so furniture version is what I'm going to do is almost the same exact thing that you just saw on that marine version. I'm going to take the welt and I'm going to put this over the top. You know what, I'm going to show the other way because I can't. So the other way of adding the welt is we'll just sew the welt on first. Then we'll put the second panel on after that. And this is what it looks like when we're done. So you can see that's a pretty large seam allowance there. Okay, and some of you might be thinking, well, that's really going to change the pattern if I change it or not. But you know what? Like I say, don't think too hard about it. Don't hurt your brain, okay? It's not rocket science. You can go either way. You can go 3/8 on this if you wanted to. You can go a 1/2 inch if you wanted to. You can go as far as you want if you want to. Okay, so just keep in mind that the more that the bigger seam allowance that you have, the tighter your cover might fit is the only thing. And sometimes that's not a bad thing, because if it fits tighter, that means you're not going to have wrinkles. Oh, my mother told me not to do it, but I did it anyway. Oh, okay, so let's just move on. So this is Landau top vinyl. This is for vinyl tops on cars. So it's a little bit heavier. It's got this heavy, like, felt backing. So what we do for vinyl top cars is we're going to pay a little bit more attention to this because we want to be accurate. So what I usually do is I go 1 inch. So for vinyl top, sewing up a vinyl top, I go 1 inch. Sometimes what I'll even do is I will take my Sharpie, and this is technique number 7428. I'll mark the 1 inch all the way down as far as I need to go, and I'll draw my line. So that way you know that you're always going to be 1 inch. Now you have a line to sew on. And that's what it looks like. So the reason for the 1 inch is because for a vinyl top, what we would do is we would put glue here on the seam. So we'll put glue, we'll fold it over, we'll press it down, and then that kind of gives you that classic vinyl top thickness that you'll see underneath the vinyl top, like that. And that's what a vinyl top seam would look like, and that would be a 1 inch.